In 2 Kings chapter 24, the kingdom of Judah enters the final stage of its decline. The power of Babylon rises across the region. The reforms of King Josiah are now in the past, and the nation moves steadily toward judgment and exile. The chapter begins during the reign of Jehoiakim, king of Judah. At this time, Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, invades the land, and Jehoiakim becomes his servant for 3 years. But later, Jehoiakim rebels against Babylon. In response, the Lord allows raiders from the Babylonians, Arameans, Moabites, and Ammonites to attack Judah. These invasions are not presented as random political events. They come because of the sins of the nation, especially the evil committed during the reign of Manasseh. The chapter explains that Judah's downfall is happening according to the word of the Lord spoken through the prophets. It also mentions the innocent blood Manasseh had shed in Jerusalem, saying the Lord would not forgive it. During this period, Babylon grows stronger, while Egypt's influence weakens. The king of Egypt no longer marches out from his land, because the king of Babylon controls the territory, from the brook of Egypt to the Euphrates River. When Jehoiakim dies, his son Jehoiachin becomes king in Jerusalem. Jehoiachin is only 18 years old and reigns for just 3 months. Like the kings before him, he continues in evil. At that time, the officers of Nebuchadnezzar come against Jerusalem and lay siege to the city. Nebuchadnezzar himself arrives, while the city is under attack. Jehoiachin surrenders to the king of Babylon, along with his mother, servants, officials, and palace leaders. Nebuchadnezzar takes him captive in the 8th year of his reign. The Babylonian king carries away treasures from the temple of the Lord and the royal palace. The gold articles made by Solomon for the temple are cut up, just as the Lord had warned. Nebuchadnezzar also takes many people into exile from Jerusalem, including officials, warriors, craftsmen, and skilled workers. About 10,000 captives are carried away to Babylon, leaving only the poorest people in the land. Among those taken into exile is a young man named Ezekiel, though he is not mentioned directly in this chapter. The exile marks a major turning point in Judah's history. Nebuchadnezzar then places Mattaniah, Jehoiachin's uncle, on the throne and changes his name to Zedekiah. Zedekiah becomes king at the age of 21 and reigns for 11 years in Jerusalem. But like the kings before him, he does evil in the eyes of the Lord. The chapter closes by explaining that because of the Lord's anger, Jerusalem and Judah are being removed from his presence. Eventually, Zedekiah also rebels against Babylon. This chapter marks a tragic turning point. Judah begins losing not only its treasures and leaders, but also its independence and stability. The exile to Babylon has begun, showing that generations of ignoring God's warnings are now leading to national collapse. Yet even in exile, God's story is not finished. The prophets will continue speaking, and hope will still remain beyond judgment. Next comes 2 Kings chapter 25, where Jerusalem finally falls, the temple is destroyed, and the kingdom of Judah comes to an end.